Fast facts time, and we are going to talk about disinformation. Last week, we told you about that fake video targeting Governor Tim Walz that U.S. intelligence officials said had all the markings of a Russian disinformation campaign. But Russia's attempts to fool American voters doesn't end there, nor are all disinformation campaigns from just Russia. These can come domestically and abroad, and a big part of these disinformation campaigns is to sow doubt in your mind that the election is not fair. In tonight's Fast Facts, Chris takes a look back at claims of widespread election fraud going back 4 years.
Was the 2020 election rigged? Was there widespread fraud, as former President Trump still claims? Well, after those initial claims, Republican lawmakers in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, and Wisconsin investigated and/or recounted votes, finding no widespread fraud. An investigation by the Associated Press looked into those states plus Pennsylvania, finding 473 total votes flagged as suspicious. And that's out of 25.5 million votes cast.
The claims of fraud were bull.
Trump's Attorney General William Barr in testimony as one of the reasons he resigned.
There were isolated instances of fraud. None of them came close to calling into question the outcome of the election in any individual state.
Over the last 5 years in Minnesota, state court records showed 26 people convicted of knowingly voted while ineligible. For scale, 3.2 million votes were counted in the 2020 general election. Well, no real middle ground in the comment section on this one, Janet. Doesn't come as a surprise much, but some comments agree with the facts, others just don't, right? For instance, user 7162532644432 said no voter ID is by design because voter fraud is impossible to prove. Similar mail-in ballot strategy. Well, Minnesota voters rejected mandatory voter ID on the 2012 ballot, and it's not impossible to detect. We just said that 26 people were convicted in Minnesota over the last 5 years. And for all questions about mail-in ballot security, I suggest you go over to the CARE Conversation with Secretary of State Steve Simon. It's on KARE 11 Plus and YouTube right now. He explains why it's secure and how it works. Another comment from Kate Carlson, 31, said, KARE 11, we appreciate your professionalism and journalism and reporting information in non-inflammatory, neutral manner. And to that, we say, thank you. Jenny, you know, if there was proof of widespread fraud, we would like to see it, and we'd be the first to report it if it's there.
Right, and we've been really going through this exercise since 2020, and we saw the challenges made by the former president in that election, and what was it, 81 to 85 judges said, no, it's just not there. Mm-hmm. But if there are, and we've gotten some reports, and we look into every single one of them.
Yep, yeah, if it's there, we'll report it.
Yeah, and Steve Simon usually answers all of our questions. What did you talk about in your conversation with Steve?
Oh, a bunch of things. We talked about getting registered when you get a new license, or you register for a new license, you registered vote, so automatic registration. We talked about that thing, which is people committing fraud in Minnesota, which is very low. We talked about the exact process of why mail-in ballots and absentee ballots are safe and fair, and there's a long history of it being safe.
And we saw with those first two stories from Kai and Sammy, people want to vote away from the polls. They want more privacy, more out of fear for whatever. They want to be able to do that. So being safe is tantamount.
I highly recommend people watch that because you're hearing it from the top official's mouth of how the system works. And just if you have a complaint about it, just do the research first. And if you disagree, well, then that's good. You can disagree if you got a good point.
Last section, let's talk about fast facts. A lot of people have liked what you've done. What's the idea behind it? Do something so quickly on such a big topic.
Well, first of all, it's way harder to research all that stuff and make sure that it's all legitimate. I mean, do like a week of research on each one of those 1-minute stories to make sure that I know the story well enough to be confident in everything that we're reporting there. And everything that we show or say is sourced in a web article online if you want to find that too. So it's not just me telling you what to think or what facts I think are pertinent. You can read all of it for yourself and then come up with your own opinion. I think that's where everybody is. People are on social media. That's where they go to get a lot of news these days, and I'm cool with that. But we just thought people are starving for plain and simple facts and then make a decision from there. And I think the project was successful. I was happy to do it.
And you can check these out on which social platforms?
Yes, it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, and it's on YouTube Shorts. So they're all in that like a minute or less essentially, and it's a format I think we're going to do more of.
And Chris almost always responds if you have a comment or a question for him. It's good stuff. Thank you so much. We hope to see more of it. Chris Zarabski. That's the last one before Election Day, but tune in to KARE 11 Plus to our free streaming app on election night. It's going to be going as Lionel Richie would say, all night long with Chris Zarabsky. It starts at 5:30 on Election Day.